Hi everyone, my name is Clint.
And my name is Seth, and Clint and I are on the sales team here at Liberty Systems. And today in this video, we are going to be comparing a consumer grade tablet with an enterprise grade tablet. And in this conversation, we're going to be talking about these tablets specifically in a warehouse environment.
Right, and during the conversation today, when we're talking about consumer tablets, we're really kind of talking about the Apples, the Samsung type tablets versus the enterprise tablet. Now we're talking about a more rugged, more purpose-built tablet, something from Zebra or Honeywell. And really not the conversation is just about comparing between consumer and enterprise, but really talking about why customers should consider and actually should use an enterprise tablet in a warehouse environment. So let's start the conversation off right away. Let's talk about some of those more common use cases we're starting to see tablets in a warehouse nowadays.
Yeah, Clint, the most common one that we see is mounting these tablets to a forklift or some kind of picking cart. So typically in this situation, you have that tablet, it's mounted on the vehicle, and then it's paired with some kind of external scanner, Bluetooth or corded scanner. And then the user on that vehicle is then doing warehouse transactions, scanning, and then kind of talking back to that back-end ERP or WMS. Another very common use case in the warehouse is using these tablets on a workstation, whether that's like a mobile workstation or more of a stationary desk. One example of this would be like in a manufacturing plant where there would be instructions on that tablet and then the user's kind of using that to assemble a widget throughout that kind of manufacturing process. So yeah, those are a couple of them.
Yeah, and I think just on the flip side too, we're starting to see a lot of these being put in the hands of supervisors or managers. So companies are really starting to outfit those personnel with a tablet because you're able to go out to the floor away from your desk. You can answer emails, you can send Teams messages, you can take a picture for quality control, you can scan a barcode to check inventory. You're able to do all that on these tablets. So that's starting to become a really positive thing that's really starting to take over too. But maybe let's talk about, put consumer aside for right now. Let's really talk about those advantages of using an enterprise grade tablet in the warehouse. What are some of those?
Yeah, a really big one is just the ruggedness you're going to get on an enterprise tablet. So these things were engineered and specifically built for a harsh warehouse environment. So they're going to be able to handle, drops, water, dust, extreme temperatures, all sorts of different things very well. Another one too is on these enterprise tablets, they do really well with wireless roaming throughout a warehouse facility. So they have 2 antennas in them, which basically allows the user to go anywhere in the facility and not really worry about dropping a wireless connection. So for example, on a more consumer tablet, it might only have 1 antenna. So, that tablet might hang on too long to 1 AP, and then it'll drop connection and then maybe take 5 or 10 seconds before it connects again. So it just kind of disrupts that workflow. And then another one to mention too is the battery life on these. So these things were built for multiple shifts. You can also get expansion back batteries for more power, as well as other accessories. So yeah, those are some of the big advantages.
Yeah, and I think just some of the other ones too is, these tablets are coming pre-licensed, pre-installed with a lot of tools, right? So we're able to, out of the box, lock this device down. We can scan a barcode to configure it. We can scan a barcode to download apps. You're not going to be able to do that with an iPad or a Samsung, especially out of the box. And another thing too is the accessories, right? You just kind of mentioned that. You're going to have a lot more options, a lot more variety if you're looking at a forklift mount or some sort of carrying case or a protective boot. You just have a lot more options with an enterprise tablet because that's what they're meant for. They're meant for those kind of scenarios. And then really the last thing too is, they have built-in scanners. You don't have to have a external scanner paired like you would with a consumer tablet. It kind of takes that external cost out of the equation. It's all built into one solution for you, which is a big difference. But maybe let's talk about those customers where, let's say they understand the importance of going to enterprise, they get it, but yet they still haven't quite made that jump to enterprise, still want to think about consumer. What are some things that they should still consider before making that decision?
Yeah, something you'll definitely want to consider is that device turnover. So a consumer grade tablet is kind of spec'd for 1 to 2 years of use, and that's not even in a warehouse environment. As compared to an enterprise tablet, those things are built to last 3+ years in that harsh environment. So a big one to think about. And then 2, just thinking about the total cost of ownership over the life of that device. So whether it's, having to replace it, productivity loss if it breaks, and just like the IT support that is needed to kind of support that unit can be very costly. So Zebra actually did a study in 2021, and they found that over a 5-year period, the total cost of ownership was $23,000 to support a consumer tablet in the warehouse, as compared to an enterprise tablet was only, around $12,000, so about half the cost. So, right away, may or may not, that consumer tablet might be a little cheaper, but the bottom line is over the life of the device, it's going to cost a lot more money.
Yeah, and I think that's, you can pretty much see that, or it's proven in just the way these, different business models work for consumer versus enterprise. So if you look at a consumer type company like Samsung or iPad, they're really just focused on getting out as much product as they possibly can into the industry. Whereas Zebra, they're more focused on, high touch, long life cycle type devices. So, that's a huge difference there. I think Samsung, in that same study that Zebra did, they found that Samsung put out like 31,000 devices each hour and for an entire day, for an entire year. That's more items shipped in a 6-hour period than Zebra does an entire year. So that just gives a huge, indication there, just the difference between the two. But on that note, that pretty much wraps up our conversation here today and all we wanted to talk about. If you have any other questions regarding any kind of consumer tablet or enterprise tablet, or just the differences between the two and which one you should consider, please reach out to Liberty Systems. We would love to have a conversation with you and help find the best device for your organization.